Hello, and welcome back to the Global Falcons podcast. I'm your host, Andrew L.G. Hunter.
And I'm your host, Angela Hunter.
And we're bringing you the stories of the week. As always, we will list the stories, all four, and then we'll dive right into each one. So, our number one is wooden satellites may cut space junk.
And the second topic is generative AI trends at work.
And the third is the world's first hydrogen ferry.
And then finally is the Global South energy revolution.
Very cool. So we'll dive right into the first one. Hope you enjoy, and thanks for tuning in. Before we get started, I'd like to say, if you like what you hear, please like, subscribe, and tell a friend. These things really help us build the channel, and it helps us bring you better quality and good content.
And as always, comments and criticisms are welcome in the comment section. It helps us sort of build on the content and what we deliver and how we deliver. Just this is for you. So
yeah, and it's a great way for us to stay connected because we're just like you. Mm-hmm. So number one is wooden satellite may cut space junk. So this is a neat idea because there's a bunch of space debris that just keeps cluttering, not the ozone. What would that be?
The atmosphere?
Yeah, sure.
Different layers?
Yeah, the outside layer. These things do come down and not all of it burns up, right? So it comes down and it causes harm to sea life, to people, to homes, vehicles, you name it. So the wooden satellite is a great revolution in that it doesn't create hazards as it comes down. Like it burns up and then everything inside kind of just melts. It's actually only 4 inches wide by 4 inches. So it's a cube.
Yeah, that's pretty small too for a satellite.
Oh, extremely small. We've come so far. Like satellites were the size of a car or bigger before, right? So, and then, they'd also have the solar panels attached to that. And that's a lot larger as well. So this one, everything is within the 4-inch cube. So that's pretty cool. It's called the LignoSat. It's made from magnolia wood, which is an extremely dense wood. I'm a carpenter. I love woods. And to be honest, I never even heard of this wood before. It weighs less than 900 grams. So as you can imagine, you can stack a bunch of these in one rocket. So we're saving on fuel. We're saving on materials. And actually right now, these are already orbiting, some of them. And they are up in
I think they went up in the SpaceX rocket to the International Space Station, and they were launched from there. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really cool. And like the cost savings alone is extreme on this. So magnolia wood is $1.25 per board foot. And when it's 4 inches by 4 inches, like you can add that up in your head that's like extremely cheap. Unbelievably cheap.
Yeah, compared to regular satellites, which are typically made of aluminum, and metals can be a lot more expensive than wood. So the cost saving there, and definitely the weight saving, I think that's kind of the huge thing.
Yeah, you save on fuel. And then again, like something so small, it's burning up. Yeah. It's burning up the entire way down, and the wood is a nice way to ignite it. The LignoSat was developed by Kyoto University. Kyoto? I think I'm saying that right. If I'm not, pardon me. And SpaceX has launched it into space. Yes, we mentioned that. For 6 months, this has already been going on. It's going to be monitored as well for another 6 months, just to make sure that it can really withstand the vacuum of space.
Yeah, wood is probably a new material for space exploration, so a lot of testing needs to be done, but that's very exciting because there's a lot of, they're trying to build more in space, so there's a lot of practical uses there.
Yeah. Yeah. This wood is very high strength to weight ratio, and it doesn't use or it doesn't block radio waves. I'm not really sure how that. I would imagine with satellites orbiting, there can be these like outage points, but like SpaceX, they have thousands and thousands of satellites, so like I would imagine that somehow they're not messing each other up, with it being so small. Let's see here. Some experts say, oh, you already nailed that. that wood's going to be widely used in space exploration. This is amazing just because of the cost savings. Now, the global space economy is set to be worth $1.8 trillion by 2035, which is up from $630 billion in 2023. And honestly,
that's fast growth.
Yeah, that is extremely fast growth.
Yeah.
If this was a stock, everyone would be talking about this a lot more.
Yeah.
I actually think those numbers are extremely low. I believe there's going to be not just exploration, there's going to be mining, there's going to be like I would think the moon is going to become kind of a gas up station, and even some of these new engines that are coming out, they don't even need fuels,
I also think it's going to be a little bit like Futurama with the like the moon is like a vacation spot, right? With tourism, and there's the whole amusement park on there. Like I think space tourism is going to be massive. There are some big companies working on it, and
Blue Origin.
Yeah, and what little kid didn't look up at the sky and thought at least once in their life, "Oh my gosh, I want to go to space," and now it's going to be a reality for everyone.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it might take a little bit long for the average Joe to go up and tour around, but that was just same with planes, right?
Yeah. That
was at first it started out as this thing that only the elite could do, and now there's like $50 flights. so I mean, it's going to be obtainable. It's just who's going to pay the most first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mars. While we're on this topic. I think Mars is going to be just a mining planet. That's it. I don't think there's any real living there. I think the humanoids that Musk is making, those are just going to be the miners on that planet. And then I think things will just get shipped back here. So when I say that, yes, the outlook for the global space exploration is 1.8 trillion, I think that's why it's an extremely low number. I think the minerals, just the materials we're going to bring back from there is going to overtake the materials we push off there, right? So I think we're looking in the quadrillions. I would think 10 quadrillion by 2050. That's what I think.
Probably, yeah. Especially if they can use that technology to like capture and harness and mine an asteroid. Like these asteroids are just packed with minerals and materials that we use all the time that are obviously right now hard to catch. But NASA did do, was that in 2021 or 2022?
Where they launched the rocket to like bump the asteroid out of the way?
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, like if they can hit it, they can eventually grab it,
Man, that was so funny though. I remember the video. I don't know what I was expecting, like something out of a movie scene or something. But when I seen it like fly towards it, and then it just went dark. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? Did it like cut out? But no, obviously, I shouldn't have swore there. But obviously, like the camera on there just exploded when it hit it. So we didn't see anything.
No.
Yeah, we just seen the asteroid and seen it hit, and then that was it, and everyone was cheering. And I was like, oh. No. We like woke up early or stayed up late to watch that live, and it was kind of a disappointment. But it was cool to see that, like, because how fast they're moving, right? Even our best rockets are not moving as fast as these meteors coming towards us, right? So to be able to like hit from two different speeds, to be able to hit something and then bump it out of the way so it doesn't hit Earth is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I think we nailed the wooden satellites may cut space junk.
Yeah.
But one more time, it's going to cut down the junk up there eventually. I think Musk is also working on a thing to capture a lot of this junk that's up there.
Mm-hmm.
So once we clear that whole way there, because right now it's just filled with, it's cluttered with aluminum everywhere, you know? So this will work great.
Yeah. All right. Generative AI trends at work. So they talked about sort of 5 different things in here. So we'll just go through them.
Well, they did talk about 5, but we're only going to talk about 4
Right,
out of
yeah.
5.
One was kind of, I don't know, it didn't really say much. It was a little bit obvious. So the first one is removing humans is the biggest mistake. Right now, generative AI is very good at coming up with ideas and getting the ball rolling. But if you want it to give you like hard, concrete answers, there's still a lot of fact checking that needs to be done. And so a lot of human oversight still needs to be there because, well, an example from my field, I work in the legal field. So if you ask it to pull, say, a rule from the court, it can access all of the internet and the rules are updated every year and they change every year. So it could be pulling from 2014 and you need the 2024 rules. And the only way you're going to know that is if you go and check, because if you just take it at face value, you don't want to look like an idiot in court citing the wrong thing because the judge is going to know.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, no. Okay, bear with me. I
think
don't know
we
what
can
to
pause
do.
it. I think we can pause it.
I'll try that. Things are dying right now, so we're gonna fix it. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that.
We are back and charging.
Yeah, I was at like 4% there. I'm sure you can all relate to that.
Yeah. So we were just sort of talking about how you shouldn't remove humans when using generative AI, especially in the workplace. And also another reason is the AI can sort of be discriminatory just based on the things that are online. It can't, I don't know, it can't decipher through trends and it can't decipher through some things. So you just have to be very careful. Like it's very factual based, but it's pulling facts from all sorts of areas. And some facts may or may not be true because everything that's written on the internet is not always true. I know this is shocking, but that's a hard fact out there. So
Yeah, and this is all data that's been accumulated, like the things we'll talk about in this one topic is all data that has been accumulated from the World Economic Forum and PwC, Price Waterhouse Corps. Coopers.
Yeah.
Coopers. Sorry, I should know that. And that's surveyed more than 20 businesses, which doesn't sound like a lot, but these businesses have like thousands and thousands of employees.
Yeah.
So it is rather a lot of
It
data.
is.
Yeah. Man, I'm all messed up from pausing this.
Oh,
I
that's okay. I got
apologize.
like the first one, so I think we're on the second one, the
Okay.
productivity.
So Gen AI has boosted productivity and quality of life. What? And quality.
Mm-hmm. Well, and probably quality of life.
Sure. I don't know why that just like rolled off the tongue there.
Yeah.
Quality of life is important.
It is, yeah.
Especially in routine and repetitive work. Helping people make fewer mistakes, which leads to higher quality of customer satisfaction. This is so important. I cannot even stress it. If your quality goes down, so does your business.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've seen this with BlackBerry. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a BlackBerry in your pocket? No, you have one of 2 phones. For the record, Samsung and Apple is what I was talking about.
Or Android and Apple.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. There's a lot of different Androids out there.
Yeah, Gen AI impact on productivity could add trillions to the global economy over the next decade. I think if everybody gets behind Gen AI and adopted it into their businesses and the way that they function on a daily, I think the productivity is bound to go up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but again, go back to number one with that. You need to keep your employees up to date with it, right? And they need to be doing their due diligence. Otherwise, it'll be like idiocracy, right?
Yeah.
We need people to also be smart. We need them to obtain this knowledge and, you know, keep it. It's very important.
Mm-hmm. And so the third one is employees can pursue more meaningful work. So when you sort of take the repetitive tasks out of the way, you can get more into the creative task, the higher level thinking, and just spend your time doing more of the things that make work fun. Like, we all have these small tasks to do at work that are tedious and time consuming, and if we didn't have to spend a couple hours a day on them, we would be able to do what we find more meaningful. If you love the smaller tasks, by all means, have at it. It's there for you. Go for it. But I think a lot of people crave that creativity because you don't get a lot of it, especially when we were in the assembly worker area where you were just doing one repetitive task all day.
Oh.
You know, it really beats people down. We need that creativity. We're very creative people. We have complex brains, and they need to be exercised. Like, even if you I love dogs, so I'm going to use this as an example. There are many different breeds of dogs, and they do a lot of different things. If you have a high intellect breed and you're not challenging them enough, they get very bored and very destructive. So I think humans are sort of the same way. We have a complex brain, and when we get bored, we start getting silly and doing stupid things. Like, we need to be learning, growing, being creative, and that brings fulfillment, enjoyment in your life. So
yeah, if you're not being creative on a daily basis, you're going to find other things that fulfills that need. So this is where this drug epidemic comes in. Like, people are doing absurd things to get high, to release those endorphins into their minds that they could get just from doing something that was out of the box and you know, use their intellect with creativity to make something new. And I think every business owner out there, I know that you can get behind that. You know, get behind get behind your employees. That sounds weird, but I think every business owner out there can appreciate the need for growing their business in a creative way. No doubt in my mind that if I paid somebody to come up with something new in my business that created a new revenue stream, I would be more willing to pay them more for their time, for those ideas, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, for me, I'm an entrepreneur. I do multiple things, and I do that because I need that. I need that on a daily basis to grow. Otherwise, I get, like, almost depressed, you know? And I hate that word so much. But if I'm not challenging myself every day, either in my mind, physically, or something like that, like you said, destructive things come into play. It could just be sitting around doing nothing, which that's not helping you in the long run. You need things in your life to make you happy. And we're all programmed as creators. That's just what we are. So challenge your creative side. Make something new.
And let AI help you do it. I mean, not everyone is a natural artist. I am very much not. I enjoy doing paint nights because it's fun and they don't always turn out, but it helps me be creative even though I'm not an artist. But AI can help that in a business sense. I would never use my pictures professionally.
Well, I don't know. I was just going to say, like, you've actually been doing really well with that.
Okay, the last one I did really good, but that's because it was a wolf.
I'm going to post that on my personal profile. Again, that's Andrew L.G. Hunter on all platforms. You can rate it. Maybe I'll put a poll as rate this. Good, yes, no.
Amateur.
I think you'll get some good feedback. I think it's great, actually. So.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah,
but if you did want to use art in a professional sense to improve your business and you're not very artistic naturally, generative AI can help with that. you get your ideas out and it can help build that for you.
It's actually shocking how well AI is good at creating art.
Yeah.
Because in my experience, art is something that it comes from pains, it comes from happiness, it comes from exploring, it comes from being creative, and it's very neat that AI can kind of tune into that part of humanity and show us things that actually inspire those feelings that I just said. So that's very neat. Did we hit number 4 on this?
No, I think that's the last one.
All right. Few organizations have developed an AI sustainability strategy. It's important. It's very important. I didn't write anything for it though.
So it just like the sustainability strategy is sort of talking about using generative AI leaves a large carbon footprint because it takes a lot of energy and power to run these programs. And then when people use them, they have to pull from lots of places and store a lot more data. So it sort of takes up a lot of space in the cloud, which is great for companies that have cloud storage space, but it all has to be stored somewhere. So there's these huge facilities, they eat up a lot of power, they produce a lot of emissions. So companies need to be aware of that and need to be developing programs, developing different ways to bring that data usage down for generative AI purposes so that it's not pulling so much power to do these smaller tasks, or what we would call smaller tasks.
Yeah, and if you want to know more about how the power is being affected by AI and Web3 and 5G and every other acronym, you can check our last, I think it was the last one, maybe the episode before that, but it would be listed as was in the episode. So
yeah, we do talk about AI quite a bit. It comes up in a lot of these episodes because
how can you not?
Yeah, it is at the forefront right now of innovation. So it's a big part of the world today. It's a big new part of the world today.
Yeah. See, when I think sustainability strategy for AI, I think okay, what can we do in our dailies that AI can just do for us that isn't going to take up our time, and how can we, like, okay, almost like set a precedent, using your language there, like you do try something with AI, and if it works out great, then you use that going forward. You don't have to again use the AI and store just take up all this fucking data space. I shouldn't swear. Take up all of this data space. I think we're allowed 2 swears or something.
Okay, we're done.
Yeah.
No more swearing.
Yeah. I've been doing really well with that up until now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I nailed that, right?
Yeah.
That way you're not taking up the space. You're using AI still, but now you've created these. I guess in your industry, this would be perfect for you. You should have said something like this, but like you have a document made up. Like, okay, in my industry, okay, having a quote. Well, once I have a quote once, I can go back and refer to that quote. I don't need to continuously make the same quote over and over and over again. I can just open up one, change the address, change the client's name or the street or whatever it is, right? So that's great.
Or blueprints. You have a set of blueprints. You do a few small tweaks for individual needs and then reuse it.
Yeah, for some blueprints. I don't think it's going to be long until all blueprints will be AI approved. I really don't think that's going to take long, because anything like structural, like outside walls and stuff like that, roofs, you need to have a engineer sign off. Now, interior stuff, you don't, and a lot of it you still need blueprints. Decks, you don't, but you need a blueprint. So, yeah, there you have it. Now, is this our last one?
No.
Okay. Third one, world's first hydrogen ferry.
so cool.
Oh, this is very cool. There's so many pluses of this.
Oh, yes.
Just okay. Right off the top, it can hold up to 75 passengers. Very cool. What is this? I like half wrote something here. From the San Francisco North Beach to downtown.
Oh, that's the path it's going right now. So it's in San Francisco.
Right.
It's going from North Beach to downtown and back, and that's just what it's running right now because it's brand new. It started in July, so what is that, like 4 months ago? And they're doing the first 6 months free. So if you're
absolutely free
in San Francisco, go get a free ride.
yeah, and it's powered by zero-emission hydrogen fuel cells, right? Now, at one point in history, hydrogen was viewed as this like super dangerous thing, and I'm pretty sure the guy who invented the first hydrogen car was actually poisoned in a coffee shop. I don't know why I know that, but that is a thing. I know that 100%. He was poisoned, and he ran outside, and he said, they poisoned me, and then died. It's super sad. But as I would imagine, taking from that was the big five car companies, had something to do with that. Yeah. And now with Elon changing things and really becoming an entrepreneur of impact, it's easier now for these other things to come into play. Like a lot of these Tesla, not the company, the man, a lot of his inventions, the patents have all run up and stuff. So all these things are obtainable for people to now do and make, and there's no problems, right? So it's very cool. They generate electricity by combining hydrogen, by combining hydrogen and oxygen. The only byproduct in the water vapor is water vapor. Wow, I said that all weird.
Okay.
I wrote it weird. I could say it one more time, but I think you guys get the idea here. Electricity made from hydrogen and oxygen. Okay? The only byproduct is water vapor, some of which is remineralized, and this I really like, for people to drink from. So, like on the ferry, sometimes, like, I'm not sure how long the San Francisco to downtown one is, but like, if you're on a boat, you're likely going to be thirsty or have to use the washroom or something like that. So the bad water, not bad, but like the water that's been used, they remineralize it and then you can drink it. Now, I just watched a video recently on this guy who's explaining, like, there's these water bottles now that you can get that actually create hydrogen water. And it's supposed to be really, really good for your body. And this, you're getting completely free on this. Which, what a world we live in now. When you go on a ferry to not only make your commute better, but you're also making your body better. I love that.
I like that too.
Right? Yeah. It's always about the people. And when you're creating a product that has multiple functions and it's free, or practically free after 6 months.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And why they're testing this on a ferry and for passengers is because 90% of global goods are carried by ship. So once they sort of nail this down by ferrying passengers, they can take that technology and put it onto bigger ships and cargo ships and actually use that for ferrying cargo and saving on all of that fuel, all of those emissions into the ocean. And then these long trips, people have to be on it to man the boats. Then you have the mineralized water while you're there.
Yeah. Yeah. International shipping emits 3% of global CO2. So
that's a lot.
Yeah. They're cutting this down by a considerable amount.
Yeah.
Also, that's more than Germany's entire annual emissions. So one whole country worth of CO2 emissions has just been cut by eliminating the cargo.
And Germany is a fairly industrious country.
Yeah.
Like they make a lot of manufactured goods there. So
Barbarian Motorworks.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. The first car I ever owned was a BMW.
Yeah. They're good cars.
They are good. They are.
There's also a Danish shipping company, Maersk. I am probably not saying that right, but they have
Danish or Dutch?
I have Danish. I think that might be similar.
Okay, because I put Dutch.
Yeah. They have a 25 large container vessel that uses carbon neutral methanol as its fuel.
Yeah, and we talked about methanol or ethanol. We talked about ethanol, and this would be similar, but not as good as ethanol.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we'd be cutting that down as well too, which is very cool. I don't know. Do you have anything else to add to that?
I think that was all of my notes.
Yeah. I would think by 2035, these oil-based cargo ships and stuff, and these terrible wrecks and like screwing up our water or our oceans. I think that's going to be eradicated just from the hydrogen fuel cell shipping containers.
Mm-hmm.
So look out for that, because that's going to be a big thing.
Yeah. So our last topic is the Global South Energy Revolution. This is talking about developing countries over developed countries. So 1 in 5 emerging markets have a bigger share in renewable energies than the average developed country. Country. So developing economies house 2/3 of the world's population, but only use 20% of the world's fossil fuel production and reserves. And they actually hold 70% of the planet's renewable energy. I'm guessing that this is renewable energy is cheaper in the long run. And so I think that this is why they use it. They see the need for bringing the cost down because they are developing, and developed countries, we throw so much money at things that, like we see it in our city, everything is the cheap short-term fix. Like there's not a lot of long-term thinking. We patch our roads over and over and over again instead of just knocking the whole thing down and redoing it entirely in a way better material so that it'll last much longer and it saves more money in the long run. And I think developing countries who don't have a lot of money really have to think long term, and I think that that's why that they're making this push.
Well, we've talked about roads on another one of our podcasts and how
they're that bad.
India, and how India is reusing their garbage and burning it into like almost like a plastic, and then paving their roads with that, and it holds up. Well, it's been held up since the 70s. So that's, I think Saskatoon, we're so far behind on our roads. We have notorious. I'm sure there's shirts, bumper stickers. I know there's actually in Saskatchewan there's a bumper sticker for this one road by. Geez, it starts with a C somewhere. It's like between Saskatoon and Kindersley. And it's like that they survived this road because of how bad it is. And Saskatoon is literally that bad.
Yeah.
The people who are winning these contracts to do it are doing a terrible job. And that's all I should say about that until I'm ready to do a better job, which I know I could. I really do.
Yeah.
By 2030, renewable energy will cover 50% of electricity. This will be worldwide. Did you already say that?
No,
okay.
That's big.
Yeah, that is a lot. The International Energy Agency. Why does that sound weird? The International Energy Agency has come together to make this a thing. The WEF and each country. That's what the WEF does, right? They make sure that each country is involved, and then they all get behind something and push it forward.
Yeah, they do make a lot of great initiatives.
Mm-hmm.
And the story sort of highlighted 5 countries that are leading the way in renewable energy. So the one that I want to talk about is Egypt. They have actually increased their wind power use 4 times and their solar power use 19 times in the last 7 years above
Wow.
what they were using 7 years ago. So that is massive. And they have to put 50% of public funds that they generate or are donated into green projects.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that I don't know the numbers for Canada, but I know that they are nowhere near that.
Yeah, we're a joke when it comes to that. The people in charge right now are more. They care more about how are they going to get theirs. You know, like our mayor. You have to pay $200,000 to run as a public, not a public figure, but a
Public servant.
public servant, right? A servant, and you got to pay to be in that position. Why do you think that is? I know why that is. It's because they're doing some crooked things to get that money back for themselves and help out their friends, right? It's bullshit. That was our third swear. Dang it.
I also think that a lot of these emerging countries that are going more towards solar and wind power, just a point for Canada, like we have a lot colder climate here. So I know that these technologies, they need improvement to work better here, because I think that the extreme cold and the extreme heat and the fluctuations can be really hard on them. And so places like Egypt and Brazil and Morocco and things like that, they do typically have a warmer climate and it's a little bit more stable throughout the year. And so, to Canada's benefit, maybe the technologies aren't quite equipped to handle our environment, but with these technologies been going on so long, you would think that we would be working on that by now, so that they can sustain in this environment. So I think that that's something that really needs to be pushed.
Yeah, the best developing nations are harnessing renewable energies, and like there's a long list of them. Ange mentioned a few of them. I'll probably hit them again. Brazil, Morocco, Bangladesh, Vietnam, and Egypt. Like, what will it take 5. Canada to make this list? Because we're not even on it.
No. Like, don't even think we're near.
Like, how sick is that? We're so far behind on so many things. It just blows my mind.
There was an interesting comment in the West story about emerging nations using debt swaps to trade clean energy with developed nations. I wish that they had gone into that a little bit more. It sort of seemed like so they were selling off debt to developed countries to use their carbon capture. I know that carbon capture is going to become huge as this push to zero emissions, and so companies that have a large carbon footprint can offset that by donating to smaller companies and using their carbon credits and things like that. So I think that developing nations are sort of taking advantage of that, which is great. And I'm interested to see how that turns out.
Yeah, because the world is built up on debt. If you don't know this, just buckle up. The entire world is built up on debt. And during COVID and all of these other... there's like all these wars and things happening right now. All of these like buzzwords out there so that they can pump out more money, which comes from the Federal Reserve, which is printed. It's made up. It's not even real money. It's not even real. But every sucker out there has to pay taxes for it. It's ridiculous. So back in 2008, I'm sure everybody knows about 2008, the biggest financial crisis yet. We're about to see the biggest one right away. But I think it all started with these swaps, which now they're starting to talk about, which makes me a little leery about it. But these swaps on these mortgages that people weren't even paying. So people were betting on it this entire time, and then somebody started to be like, hey, you know what, this isn't right. So they bet against it, and then lo and behold, They were right. The person who bet against it and everything fell, and then they made it out with a bunch of money. Now, same thing's happening with the actual dollar. Okay, and that's why I believe crypto and blockchain will be the next big thing, and I've been betting heavy on that. And I tell you, now that they're talking about these swaps again, and basically it's a fancy way of saying that they're just going to eliminate all the debt that they've just created.
Yeah.
By saying, okay, so you're paying taxes on your carbon footprint. Okay, now they'll alleviate some of those taxes for you if you can show that you're being carbon neutral or at zero. So then they'll swap your debt for the good things you're doing. That's basically what this is. This to me is very interesting. I'm curious to see where it goes because it might actually be brilliant and it might actually work, because if you don't take the steps forward right now to ensure that your business, your home, your vehicles, everything in your life is net zero, you're going to be taxed so bad that you'll go poor very fast. Yeah. So this isn't financial advice, of course, but I think the only way for everybody to get ahead then is to go and get yourself in a bunch of debt, just like the government did, and then take that debt and invest it into something that's carbon neutral, something that will make such a big impact that you'll get so much credits. It won't even matter about the debt you just got. Again, not financial advice, because speculation here.
Yeah. And if
it works for the government, it must work for you.
Yeah. And if you are interested in learning a little bit more about the 2008 financial crisis and
a bunch of movies.
Yeah, I would suggest The Big Short. They do a lot of breakaways and sort of explain things in layman's terms, like credit default swaps and a bunch of different things that if you're just hearing these terms for the first time, they can be a little bit confusing. But I think that movie does a good job of actually breaking it down.
Yeah. Margin Call is also a good one too.
Yeah.
I really like that one because it was like the oh shit moment, right? And they actually had everybody. They had this one scene that actually did happen, where I guess so. Same with The Big Short. A lot of that happened. Yeah. A lot of those players were real, but Margin Call, they had like the governments and all the banks in one room together, and seeing those talks were comical. Also, there's Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps, the new one, not the old one.
Yeah.
With Michael Douglas. Yeah, that's the old one. The new one's Shia LaBeouf. And it's not even that new, but it's the newer of the two. Yeah. So again, we've hit some movies for you guys to check out. We love that. We love movies. And I think we hit all the topics.
We did. We crushed it.
Yeah. What time are we at here? Okay, we went a little over than we usually do, but we're also extremely tired. So I think we said things twice.
We were a little late this week. It was a busy weekend. We had a lot going on. We're helping people move, Christmas parties. 'Tis the season. So
yeah, well, she helped more than I did for the moving portion there, but
supervisor is an important role.
Yeah, but I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you gained some new knowledge, and I hope these things either inspire you or help you and your family to achieve more. And that's the idea here. So if you like what you've seen, again, hit the like button, subscribe, tell a friend, and you do the comment thing.
Yeah, if you have any comments or criticisms you want to share with us, put that in the comment section. We love to hear it. We love to learn. We love to grow. So constructive criticism or things that you like that we do, it really helps us develop this and grow it into something that you enjoy, because we're not just doing this for us. We're doing this for you guys as well.
Yeah. So on that note, this has been the Global Falcons Podcast. Thanks for flying into the nest. I have no idea. So there it is. See you next week.